What's going on, NFL fans? Before I get into today's NFL playoff picture, usually the person that does this video is Tom Downey, and I want you guys to go ahead and give Tom a follow on Twitter at WhatGoingDowney, and I want you to say congrats to him and his wife for celebrating the birth of their very first child. So please, before we get into today's show Tom some love, tweet at him congrats, and give him a follow. You're watching NFL Daily. Mitchell Renz from Chat Sports here, ready to walk you guys through the updated NFL playoff picture after Week 10. We're going to look at some key matchups in Week 11, and ultimately, I'm going to tell you who's going to finish as the number one seed in both divisions, and I'm going to tell you which teams that are currently in the playoff picture aren't going to be making it. Let's first look at the AFC playoff picture, though. The number one seed, the Tennessee Titans. It's been very impressive for them, the fact that they've been able to continue to win football games without their star running back, Derrick Henry, without the guy who I realistically could have said probably could have been the front runner to win the NFL MVP. Now, Week 10 was an absolute nail-biter. They came out on top over the New Orleans Saints. Week 11, they played their division rival, the Houston Texans, and, well, Houston, you guys know it. You're going to be in a lot of trouble. Now, luckily for Tennessee, they're 8-2. They're in probably the worst division in all of football, and their schedule is about to get a whole lot easier. So with that being said, who's going to finish with the number one seed in the AFC? Just a week ago, I came on an NFL Daily Show, and remember, we go live every single Monday and Wednesday, and I was live last Wednesday, and I said it was going to be the Buffalo Bills. Is that answer going to remain? No, it's not going to remain. I'm actually going to sit here and say it's going to be the Titans. They're going to finish as the number one seed in the AFC. I mean, from top to bottom, they're still being able to run the football. They do need to get a little bit healthier, but I have a lot of confidence in Tannehill. I have a lot of confidence in this coaching staff, and it helps being in the division that they are in right now. All right, let's go to the number two seed here in the AFC. It's the Buffalo Bills. They absolutely blew out the Jets 45-17 in Week 10. They have a tougher matchup up against the Indianapolis Colts because, let's face it, Jonathan Taylor has been running like an absolute madman these past few weeks. Now, the Bills, remember, they've been kind of this like hard team to be able to figure out because they can go ahead and they whoop on the Jets. Well, they just lost to the Jacksonville Jaguars 9-6, so which team is going to show up Week 11? Let's now go back to the AFC playoff picture, and maybe in case you forgot some of the teams on here, we're going to look at the division leaders, and then we'll talk about some of the wild card and some of the other teams here. In Week 10, the Baltimore Ravens, they laid an absolute stinker on Thursday Night Football up against the Miami Dolphins. I'm going to give Miami a lot of credit. I thought they had a phenomenal game plan for Lamar Jackson. Now they have Week 11 up against the Chicago Bears. You're hoping that they're going to be able to bounce back here, but if they want to be able to hold a lead in a very tight AFC North race, they got to continue to win football games. One of the hottest teams in the NFL, it's the Kansas City Chiefs, and they absolutely blew out the Raiders at Allegiant Stadium on Sunday Night Football, 41-14. This is probably going to be the game of the week, Week 11, up against the Dallas Cowboys. The fact that Kansas City has won 3 straight games, and if you watch that Sunday night game, they had 516 yards of total offense. Mahomes had 422 passing yards, 5 touchdowns. They did whatever they wanted, whenever they wanted up against Vegas, who was in the playoff picture. Now they're on the outside looking in. Now, if you guys find yourself looking for NFL videos every single day, we got you covered here. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you turn on those notifications because if any breaking news happens, I don't want you guys to miss it. So if you're wondering where the sub button is, it's right underneath the video, and it literally says subscribe, so click it. If you're wondering where the notification bell is, right underneath the video, looks like a bell. Click that, click all. That way you never miss a thing. Let's go to the wild card teams here in the AFC. Week 10 tie, 16-16. Somebody needs to tell Najee Harris that you can tie in the NFL. I don't know how guys can play in the NFL and not know that games can end in a tie. Absolutely mind-blowing to me. Now, they have the Los Angeles Chargers on Sunday Night Football this upcoming week, but I really think the only reason why this game was a tie was because Mason Rudolph stinks. The fact that they're not playing Dwayne Haskins shows how bad he is. You didn't have Big Ben. You tied with the Detroit Lions. Jared Goff has thrown for 0 touchdowns in 4 out of the last 5 games. Now that's bad. What about the 6th seed here? The New England Patriots. I'll tell you what, this would be one of the last teams that I want to play. You can make an argument that they're one of the hottest teams in the NFL right now. They blew out the Cleveland Browns 45-7. Now they have a little bit of a tougher matchup here against the Atlanta Falcons on Thursday Night Football. But this is a football team that lost Week 1 to the Dolphins by a point. They lost by 2 points in the Tom Brady coming back to New England game. I mean, they've been playing phenomenal football, and they're only a half a game back in the AFC East race. What about the 7 seed here in the AFC? It's the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, they just lost to the Minnesota Vikings 27-20, and after a nice little hot start by the Chargers and Justin Herbert, they've come down to earth a little bit. Have lost 3 out of their last 4 games, but they really need a win up against the Steelers. The Steelers really need a win, and whoever loses this game more than likely will not be in the playoff picture anymore. In fact, whoever loses that game, I don't think that they are due to the numbers. Yes, they will not be in the playoff picture because one of the other key matchups you got to look at here is the 5-4 teams, the Raiders and the Bengals. I mean, just 2 weeks ago, the Raiders and the Bengals were the 1 and 2 seed, and now neither team is in the playoff picture. So after looking at this AFC playoff picture, which AFC team won't make it? So obviously there's 7 teams in, and usually there's going to be a lot of things changing here and there. But as I mentioned earlier, the Raiders and the Bengals were both in it 2 weeks ago as the 1 and 2 seed, and now they're totally out of it. So it just shows how quickly it can happen. I'm going to say the team that's right now in the playoffs that's not going to make it, it's the Pittsburgh Steelers. Not because they haven't been playing solid football. They have been. Their schedule is about to get really, really difficult. So they're 5-3-1 as it stands right now. They play the Chargers, the Bengals, the Ravens, the Vikings, the Titans, the Chiefs, the Browns, the Ravens. I think they lose at least 5 games in that mix there, which then to me says that they're not going to be in the picture. Now, sure, the defense is playing pretty solid, and if you're a Steelers fan and you want to yell at me, hey, you can go ahead and do so. You can also check out our Steelers YouTube channel, youtube.com/Steelers TV. So this Week 11 matchup, this is a big one because whoever wins this game is probably going to be the number 7 seed, depending on how some of the other games fall. But the Bengals, they're a point favorite. The Raiders, the over-under in this game is 49. Both teams have lost, I believe, their last 2 games that they've played. So if you want to bet on this game or any game going forward, one place to do it and one place only. That's at BetUS. Go to chatsports.com/bet. Promo code NFL Daily. It's going to get you 125% deposit bonus. So if you want to bet on any NFL game, you're going to bet on Thursday Night Football, Sunday Night Football, Monday Night Football, go ahead and get started with our sportsbook partner. It's the best deal on the internet. And I always say this, I literally challenge you to find another company that'll give you 125% deposit bonus. Usually companies brag about giving a 50%. We said bang to that. Chatsports.com/bet. Promo code NFL Daily, 125% deposit bonus. All right, guys, it's time now to go to the NFC, and let's look at this playoff picture. You got the Green Bay Packers, the Arizona Cardinals, Cowboys, Buccaneers, all leading in their division, and then you're rounding out the wild card Rams, Saints, Carolina. We're first, though, going to talk about the number 1 seed, the Green Bay Packers, who shut out the Seattle Seahawks, and I believe it was the only time with Russell Wilson that the Seahawks have been shut out. Then you got Week 11 up against the Minnesota Vikings, and here's the thing. The Packers have lost 1 game with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback, and that was Week 1 against the Saints in a 38-3 blowout. Besides that game, they haven't lost. Their only other loss was when Jordan Love was trying to throw the football up against the Chiefs. So when I really think about who I think is the best team, it's the Green Bay Packers with Aaron Rodgers. And I get it. We talk about Rodgers. We talk about that offense. Aaron Jones, he's going to be out a week or 2 with an MCL sprain. But that defense is legit, too. They're playing hella football right now. So who's going to finish with the number 1 seed in the NFC? I probably set this answer up a little bit, but I'm going to go with the Green Bay Packers, who I really, truly believe are the best team in the NFL right now. And even though they're not going to have Aaron Jones for a week or 2, maybe 3, A.J. Dillon's been running like an absolute madman. He had 2 touchdowns last week. Rodgers is able to spread the ball. Devontae Adams is the best wide receiver in the league right now in this defense, led by their safeties, is playing on an unbelievable level. Let's go to the number 2 seed here. They lost 34-10 up against the Carolina Panthers, and you know, this just seemed like one of those games that would be in a movie, right? Cam Newton, not on the team, comes in, scores 2 touchdowns on 2 plays. Now, I'll also say Kyler Murray didn't play. DeAndre Hopkins didn't play. That's the big reason why Arizona struggled. And sure, the first game that Colt played, they won 31-17. It was a cool story. Then they got some extra tape on them, and I'm going to tip my cap to Matt Rule and his squad being ready to go because they showed up and they punched Carolina in the mouth, or not Carolina, the Arizona Cardinals. They got punched in the mouth by Carolina, and that was it. But they are still the number 2 seed. Let's go to the number 3 seed, the Dallas Cowboys, who, I mean, if you had any questions after a really terrible game against the Broncos. They said, hold my beer. We're going to go ahead and blow out Atlanta 43-3. And I was on Twitter. I'm on Instagram as well, at MitchellRens365. And I saw all the memes. Oh no, Cowboys are up 28-3 up against Atlanta. Could we see something different? The answer to that was a big old fat no. And if there's any Cowboys fans out there, if you want to go subscribe to the #1 most watched Cowboy show in the world, it's youtube.com/CowboysTV. Go ahead, subscribe. Over 100,000 subs there. Let's go to the defending Super Bowl champs, the #4 seed, leading the NFC South. I don't know what the hell happened, but Taylor Heineke, it was almost like they were pouring Heineke in Tom Brady's water cooler because the whole team looked a little bit drunk. They didn't show up. 29-19 loss. Now they're going to be going up against the New York Giants on Monday Night Football, but after a 6-1 start, the Bucs have lost 2 straight games, and not having Antonio Brown in that offense has really, really hurt, and apparently he did suffer a little bit of a setback, so maybe Tampa Bay can get it going like they did last year, but I'm saying right now, it's not too sunny right now in Tampa Bay. Maybe a little humid, though. All right, guys, if you like what you're seeing here on today's show, you can always hit me up on IG, at MitchellRens365. If you have any questions, if I said something bad about your team, please come and yell at me. That's what the DMs are all about. If you want to stay up to date on more NFL, more Raiders content, at MitchellRens365. Let's go to the #5 seed here. We're going to get into the wild card teams, the Los Angeles Rams. I don't know if it was OBJ. I don't know if it's Von Miller, but this game honestly reminded me a lot of the Philadelphia Eagles a few years ago where dummy Vince Young goes on the mic and says, dream team. Well, you can put as many of these talented players on a team. If you don't play as a team, you're not going to win games. And what the 49ers did was simple. We're going to be tougher than you. We're going to be more physical than you. And until you can stop it, good luck. I also want to give a major shout out to Deebo Samuel, who right now deserves to be in that top 5 wide receiver discussion. But if you're a Rams fan, I get it. You're signing all these players and Matthew Stafford's this and that. But you've lost 2 straight games, and you got absolutely whooped this past week. Let's go to the 6th seed here. The New Orleans Saints had a rough game, 23-21 loss to the Tennessee Titans. They're going to be going up against Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles in Week 11, but they're still in this playoff race despite not having Michael Thomas. Now they don't have Jameis Winston. The issue here for New Orleans, I really don't know if I can believe in Trevor Siemian. Luckily, I still think the Saints have one of the best defenses in the entire league. We're going to stick, though, in this division, and we're going to go to the #7 seed, the Carolina Panthers, who are coming off probably the biggest upset of the entire week, 34-10 win in Arizona. Now they're going to be going up against the Washington football team, but the main storyline here is this. It's Cam Newton, and it sounds like he's going to be the starter in this game. I mean, he had a rushing touchdown. He had a passing touchdown. This might be an unpopular opinion, but I really, truly believe Cam Newton deserves to be in that conversation of the greatest goal-to-go quarterback of all time, whether it's running, whether it's passing. He's back. I don't know if you heard that, but he's back. All right, let's go to the NFC Playoff Picture one more time. Let's look at it. And I want you to look at the teams that are in the race, maybe in the wild card, like the Rams, like the Saints, like the Panthers. But then also look at some of these 4 and 5 teams. The Vikings, the 49ers, the Falcons. You got the Eagles there at 4 and 6, and then you got just a shit ton of teams at 3 and 6. And then once you know it, the Detroit Lions, they're not totally defeated, but at least they have a tie. So Detroit, congratulations to you. So out of the NFC teams that right now, if the playoffs were to start today, they'd be in, which one of those teams, or maybe you want to throw in 2, I think you can go ahead and do that, 3, 4, hey, this is up to you guys. This show is fun to do, but it's ultimately up to you. So which NFC team won't be making the playoffs? My prediction is the Carolina Panthers, and it's a good story. I like to see Cam Newton succeeding, having a good old time, but the NFL has proven me this. Once they get some tape on Cam, once the offense gets refigured out, remember Sam Darnold was this great quarterback early on, and then they figured him out. It's just going to be a long stretch. Plus, that division is a little bit of a gauntlet. They got some tough games at the end of their season. I believe their next 3 games are rather easy, but no disrespect to Carolina. I just think there's some other better teams out there. Now, if you made it this far in the video, we got to be doing something right around here at Chat Sports, so please make sure you subscribe. Make sure you go ahead, like the video, turn on those notifications. I'm going to be live tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Pacific. We're going to be breaking down some NFL news. We're going to be doing mailbags as well, so please come ahead and join us. My guys, Harrison and Chase, they're going to be live on Thursday for any given Thursday, and please remember to hit up Tom on Twitter at WhatGoingDowney and wish him and his wife a or I guess I should say, tell him congrats, happy life ahead of y'all, and I can't believe that you guys are having a baby girl. That's freaking awesome. So go ahead and hit up Tom on Twitter at WhatGoingDowny.